And Dave Sussman back with you in the chair. Joe Messina's Real Side Radio. Thanks, Joe, for letting me sit in every couple of weeks here at Real Side Radio. And as you've heard tonight, we've got a couple of phone calls from some folks that have called in. You can call us at 855-732-5563. And we are live on Facebook and at the website, realside.com. Something is happening right now with leftists. As you heard my rant earlier this evening regarding what we just saw with Bernie Sanders talking about using abortion as some kind of a birth control for population control to address climate change. He said this on CNN at their climate change debate tonight. Incredible. There's something happening right now. There's something whereby, and we've used the word unhinged, whereby I believe these people are acting like children. We just saw an episode, and I'm stunned that I'm about to play something from Whoopi Goldberg from The View that I agree with, and I would stand up and applaud. What am I about to play? If you haven't heard, there was a show back in the 90s. It was a very popular show. I will be honest with you. I never watched it once. I've heard of it, but I never watched it. It was called Will and Grace. I guess it was a sitcom on one of the networks. And this woman from Will and Grace, her name is Deborah Messing. She essentially came out along with her co-host Eric McCormack, who suggested that Trump supporters in Hollywood should be blacklisted, essentially going McCarthyism on any conservatives in Hollywood, saying that they should not be hired or I will not work with them. This is exactly what they said. Whoopi Goldberg responds beautifully with this.
Did this. Yeah. People ended up killing themselves.
Yeah.
This is not a good idea. Okay?
Listen,
your idea of who you don't want to work with is your personal business. Do not encourage people to print out lists, because the next list that comes out, your name will be on, and then people will be coming after you. No one. Nobody. We had something called the blacklist, and a lot of really good people were accused of stuff. Nobody cared whether it was true or not. They were accused, and they lost their right to work. You don't have the right. In this country, people can vote for who they want to. That is one of the great rights of this country. You don't have to like it, but we don't go after people because we don't like who they voted for. We don't go after them that way. We can talk about issues and stuff, but we don't print out lists. And I'm sure you guys misspoke when you said that, because it sounded like a good idea. Think about it, read about it, remember what the blacklist actually meant to people, and don't encourage anyone to do it.
Wow. Now, if you didn't know Whoopi Goldberg's politics and never heard of The View before, and many of you I know wish you never had, she's a conservative right there. But it isn't about conservatism. It isn't about liberalism. It isn't about Republicans and progressives. This is just common sense. This is just decent humanity. Behavior with other people living in a civilized country where you are allowed to have differences of opinion. Now, what is happening right now where the left are now starting to eat their own, as we can see with Whoopi Goldberg, and we've seen this recently with Bill Maher. You know, he's come down on Ilhan Omar and others. He apparently had something to say regarding this Deborah Messing, and Deborah Messing said we should boycott Bill Maher's show. It's like, if you disagree with me, it's called the cancel culture. I'm sure you've heard of this, folks. Cancel culture. The cancel culture. And this means that if you say something that somebody disagrees with, they automatically classify you as a Nazi, as a bigot, as a xenophobe, or whatever the epithet may be. And they're going to go after your job. They're going to go after your living. You no longer can take care of your children and pay your mortgage and keep the lights on because somebody disagrees with you. This is scary. And the fact that Whoopi Goldberg has woken up to this monster that the left have created. And who created it? So many on the left. But the folks that are out there right now that have been perpetuating this grievance culture that we live in, this cancel culture that we live in, all stem from the anger that's coming out from the left with leaders like Adam Schiff, who has been lying to us for the past 2.5, 3 years, saying that he's got inside knowledge of Russian collusion and that this president will be impeached. And people are so angry because they're expecting things to fall apart for the Trump administration based upon people like Adam Schiff, that they now find other things to go after, such as you. If they disagree with your audacity to have the right to have an opinion that differs from them. This is the culture and society that we're living in right now. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why Trump won. And I'm telling you right now, Trump will win again based upon all of this that is happening on the left. Oh, the polls don't show Trump is winning. I'm telling you why. Nobody is going to take a pollster's question and answer them honestly because they don't want to be canceled. And Whoopi Goldberg understands that, whatever you think of her politics. So after the break, we've got Eric Early, who's running against Adam Schiff, the congressional district, I believe it's District 28 in California. And this guy's the real deal, folks. He got 1 million votes running for Attorney General in the state of California in 2018. Don't go away. This is going to be fascinating. Dave Sussman, Real Side Radio. Jack Nicholson, you can't not like Jack. Welcome, Real Side. Joe Messina. I'm Dave Sussman, sitting in the chair here tonight at realside.com. And if you want to give us a phone call in at 855-732-5563, and you can hang out with our Facebook friends. There are a lot of folks on Facebook that are watching and listening, and hi, Facebook friends. So as I was just talking about or ranting about, we started off this hour talking about Whoopi Goldberg actually coming down on these idiots from this Will and Grace TV show that are trying to blacklist these Hollywood conservatives. And I believe that this all stems from our leadership, that they were so disappointed that they didn't get Trump, that they didn't get all of this collusion that they've been lying about for the past 2.5 years, 3 years, that they're now just trying to find every other way to go after conservatives. And one of those leaders is Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff, as you know, Congressman Adam Schiff from California 28, now has some stiff competition. And on the line tonight is Eric Early, be that stiff competition. Mr. Early, how are you, good sir?
Always good talking to you, Dave.
Likewise, my friend. Eric Early, you are a very successful attorney from the very, I would say, protected and blue country of Beverly Hills, California. You ran for Attorney General in 2018. You got almost 1 million votes running against Javier Becerra. And now you have thrown your hat in the ring to go against Adam Schiff. Tell us a little bit about how the campaign is going.
Campaign's going very well, Dave. We started off about a month ago, and we've been getting endorsements. We were just endorsed by the Glendale Burbank Republican Assembly, a very influential and great organization out in my district here in the 28th Congressional District. I've got a great campaign team behind me. I've been endorsed by the LA County Republican Party. This coming weekend in Indian Wells is the state convention, the state Republican convention, and my endorsement is up there, is going to be considered there, and things are looking good that I'll be getting the California Republican Party endorsement as well. And, we've embarked on this national fundraising campaign because this fellow I'm against is basically, he's a national disgrace. Adam Schiff is a national disgrace. He's a liar. He's a leaker. And Republicans around the country, conservatives around the country, can't stand the guy. So, I've started receiving these donations from all over America, and it's really it's amazing as this happens. And in many cases, these donations are made. People can also send me a message on the donation. And some of the messages people are sending me from all around the country about this race, about the prayers and support they're giving me, about what they think of this guy Schiff, it's incredible, and I read everything. And so it's been a fascinating experience so far. We've got a long way to go.
Yeah.
You know, Dave, we're here in Los Angeles, and you know, sometimes I refer to this as the belly of the beast. It's a tough uphill battle. The district is plus 23% Democrat, but you know, my opponent is totally worth taking on, and I think we can convince voters of various persuasions to come support me.
Yeah, Eric, I got to ask you this because I've gotten to know you fairly well. And folks, if you want to watch a long-form interview with Eric Early, just you can find it on YouTube. Just type in Whiskey Politics, Eric Early, and we spoke for a good solid hour, and fascinating. And I'm just going to ask you this: for those people that are out there across the fruited plain, because we're in 53 stations across America right now that want to, first of all, support you. Where do they send information? Where can they learn more about you and send donations?
Well, if you go to ericearly.com, that's spelled ERICEARLY.com, you can see where you donate. And one thing for your listeners to know, because you know, when you go online and you're asked to make a donation, I can understand a lot of people might be skeptical as to what's going to happen if you do that. What I can tell your listeners is, the second a donation is made, it lights up on my mobile phone. It's amazing, and it lights up on my campaign treasurer's office.
Okay.
And as I said a little while ago, there's a place to send a message to me, and I read all these messages.
Right.
So, you know, it's an amazing thing, and you know, Adam Schiff has been this you know, lifelong political hack, has been raising money for years and years and years. He's the darling of the left, as you know, and darling of the mainstream media. So this guy's got a fortune in the bank already, and we need to raise money to adequately contest.
Right. How does somebody like yourself, who is obviously very successful, and you've already got a big following, you're not a nobody. Like I said, you ran against Javier Becerra for Attorney General in 2018. You got almost 1 million votes in the state of California, for crying out loud, as a Republican. But how you just mentioned that the district is what, D plus what, 23, you said?
23% more Democrats than Republicans in our district.
So what's the answer to that?
That is a big lift. What's that?
Yeah. How do you answer that?
Well, listen. For the people in the district here, for people around the country, I talk about what really brought me into this race originally was, you know, I've been watching TV like everybody else, and this guy Schiff has been running to every mainstream media outlet he could get to, which is just about every one of them, over and over again. And for the last 2+ years, he's looked us all in the eyes, and he's lied to our face about Russia collusion. And you know, and that President Trump, who I unabashedly support, I strongly support our president, that our president is a Russian asset. Mm-hmm. And this guy Schiff kept going on and on and on, getting thrown softballs by these just Democrat operatives, really, on, you know, the various networks. And he kept telling all of us, I've got, you know, this great evidence, and I've got it. I've seen it. It's as clear as day. There's Russia collusion. Most people know this fellow sits on the House Intelligence Committee, so, you know, he implied that he had seen secret documents that none of us had said, and that it's all going to come to light. Now, people like me knew from day one there was never any, you know, Russia collusion whatsoever, and this was all just another way to try and destroy a president. And so we watched him lie and lie and lie, and I just got to the point I had to get in this race. I couldn't take this guy anymore, and I want to touch him up. I want to call him out on everything. But in the district here, one thing you learn about this fellow Adam Schiff,
Eric,
is that
Yeah, real quickly, because we're about to head into a commercial. And I want you to stick through the commercial break because I want to get more into Adam Schiff and also what's going on in Southern California right now, because there is a epidemic homeless crisis that is unlike anything I've ever seen, and where Adam Schiff has focused his attention on anything but that. So stick through the break, Eric. We got Eric Early, who is running for California 28. and against Adam Schiff. And this guy's the real deal, folks. So don't go away. Dave Sussman here at Real Side Radio. We'll be right back. And Dave Sussman back with you in the chair for Joe Messina's Real Side Radio. And you can find us at realside.com and give us a phone call at 855-732-5563. Had a couple of interesting calls this evening. And you can find me at Whiskey Politics. Whiskey Politics is the name of my show. And also daily from 10 to 12. 10 to 12, that is Pacific time, folks, at the America's Voice News. I'm on a show called America's Voice Live. And we have a lot of fun over there as well. But, one of the things we talk about all the time is just this. Well, Eric Early said it himself best, this fight between good and evil in this country. And Eric Early, if you're just joining us, is running as a candidate for Congress in California, Congressional seat 28, against Adam Schiff. Yes, that Adam Schiff. Eric, talk to me about what you're seeing right now with this fight between good and evil in America.
Well, this is one of the reasons I got involved in this race, and then we can get back and I can tell you what I'm going to be saying to the people in my district to hopefully convince them to start switching away from the dark side. But I do firmly believe that in our great country, and I believe this is the greatest country God ever created, that we are in an internal fight of good versus evil, and there are these evildoers just popping up all over the place. They are generally affiliated with the Democrat Party. They've got the mainstream media pushing their message everywhere, and they are pushing a message that would completely undermine this nation. And conservatives say just go to Venezuela and take a look at where these people want to take us. And of course, the far left says, we're crazy for saying that, but that is a perfect example of what these positions they take, and what they're saying, and how they want to give everything to everybody for free. And we've got to stop this. And then you have this squad, which is sort of, exhibit A of how evil these people are. And then you have the lesser evils of sort of the Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warrens of the world, and the things that they're pushing. But, Abe Lincoln, who was the first Republican president, by the way, he said in words and substance, not an exact quote, that we could never be beaten from outside forces, but we could be destroyed from within. And this is what we're fighting, and we have to be strong. And thank God we have a president who's the strongest president I can remember in my lifetime. And I learned plenty from him. And we've got to be strong, and we've got to keep fighting back against these people. And I believe that good will conquer evil, but we see the way evil works. It's insidious. Here's an example. We're living in a time now where these really bad people are being portrayed as the good people, and the good people are being portrayed as the evil people. And if that's not a sign that evil has taken hold, I don't know what is. So That's one of the reasons I'm in this. This is not a time for an Adam Schiff, who's a two-faced, mealy-mouthed, lying, professional political hack who, he's a real smooth talker and everything. This is not a time for those kind of people. This is a time for straight talkers who have common sense, who are not professional politicians, who don't need to be in political office their entire life. In fact, I don't need to be in political office at all to get out there, to speak truth to what's going on here, and to fight back and say what needs to be said against these people. The Adam Schiffs of the world, they just talk out of 14 sides of their mouth, and they're all about getting elected over and over again. So, these are some of the reasons I'm in this race, Dave, sorry. And, as I'm speaking to you, I've gotten a few donations from your listeners out there. They're lining up on my phone. It's a really cool thing to watch.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, let me ask you this, because one of the issues that we are dealing with in any blue city governance, any blue city urban area, but specifically in your district in Los Angeles, is this plight of homelessness, this insidious idea idea that for some reason it's just part of living in a city now. It was never this bad. We never saw typhoid and the bubonic plague. We never saw homeless encampments miles away from Skid Row into places where you're living right now. What is going on with Blue City governance and Adam Schiff, who spends all of his time focused on phantoms of Russia collusion? What is he doing, or has he done anything to try to offset this disaster that we're seeing in Los Angeles?
You know, Dave, you just put it very well. What we're seeing out here is there's a human tragedy going on. It's been going on for years. We're now reaching epidemic status. It's even gotten to the point where the left, the mainstream media out here, the Los Angeles Times, which would never criticize a Democrat in a million years, is even starting to take this Democrat leadership to task for what we're seeing. You drive under overpasses here, and you see tent cities everywhere, and you see people living out on the street. You hear and see about these these typhoid type diseases, typhus type diseases coming back to life and being spread by rats and by mosquitoes and stuff. And then you look at a guy like Adam Schiff, and when you look at what this guy's done for our district in the 20 plus years he's been in office, it's shocking. The man has done virtually nothing out here. And these are some of the things I want to point out strongly to the people in our district. Now, when it comes to this homelessness situation, Adam Schiff has not said a word. And perhaps that's because, we live in a Democrat cabal out here. It's run soup to nuts, the state, by Democrats. And we conservatives can point the finger at them. They've been in power for years and years, and we say, this homelessness epidemic is your fault. It happened on your watch, and you have to do something about it. So I'm looking at various ways and talking to various people about what we can do about it. It's a big issue for me. And the underlying issues of severe mental illness and drug abuse, these are big issues for me. They have to be tackled. Adam Schiff does nothing about this stuff. And Dave, let me tell you another issue that is a huge issue for me. I know you and I spoke about it when you interviewed me for Whiskey Politics a while ago, before I jumped in this race. I'm fighting a case up in Santa Barbara, California. I'm representing a group of concerned citizens up there, and we're suing the Santa Barbara Unified School District for hiring this outfit of social justice warriors to go into the schools and teach the teachers and teach the kids these unbelievably anti-American, anti-Caucasian, anti-Christian, anti-male, anti-everything American programming. They're indoctrinating kids up there, and we're suing them for all kinds of things. And I've been hearing from people around the country, and these kind of things are spreading, and they've been out there in the public school system in many parts of the country. And if I'm lucky enough to get elected to Congress, I want to get in there, and I want to start holding federal funding over these public school districts' heads. They all get federal funding, and we should hold it over their heads and leverage it and use it and do whatever we can to prevent these schools from hiring these social justice warriors.
Right.
Another thing I've been saying,
we got 1 minute left here.
This kind of education. Okay, you take this kind of education that they're teaching you, flash forward, and when they come out the other side, they end up as these squad members. So, Dave, we got a ton of things to fight. I love being on your network, on the Dave Sussman Empire, and, I love talking to you because you've got a great audience, and we can win this fight, and I think your listeners can hear, I'm a fighter, and this is a time for fighters.
Eric Early for Congress in 2020, folks, and whether you're in Los Angeles or you're in San Francisco, Washington, Florida, or anywhere else around the country and you are within earshot of this, check out Eric Early for Congress. It's ericearly.com, right, Eric?
You got it.
ericearly.com. Help him out.
I need your help, folks.
Yeah,
help.
D23 is not something that is insurmountable. I've seen a lot of other races that people said were impossible, and people won those things. So Eric definitely has a chance. Again, he got almost 1 million votes for Attorney General running in the state of California, and people are sick and tired. I'm just going to say this to you right now in our last few seconds here, Eric. People are sick and tired tired of Adam Schiff. He is creepy. He is crazy. He's been lying to the American people for 3 years, and nothing has come out of it other than just more division and just the state of our country because of the way that these people have behaved themselves for the past 3 years is nothing more than just shameful. It's shameful. So I want to thank you. And real quickly, by the way, folks, check out deplorablesfordonaldjtrump.com. Eric Early is going to be joining me. I'm also going to be speaking at this event on September the 28th, 4 p.m., the Trump 2020 Tour at the Holiday Inn Media Center in Burbank, California. Deplorablesfordonaldjtrump.com. Eric Early, thank you so much. God bless, my friend.
God bless you, buddy.
Take care. All right. We'll be back here after the break. Dave Sussman here, Real Side Radio. And welcome to the wrap-up segment. Cody, how did this happen? We're already in the end of our 3 hours, folks, which means I must have been having fun. I want to thank Cody and Tammy, who is in another part of the studio, monitoring, making sure everything is going smoothly here. And all of you folks that have been listening to the Real Side Radio with me, your guest host, Dave Sussman. If you want to follow me elsewhere, you can find me on Twitter at David Sussman, the full name David Sussman, but don't call me David. That's what my mother calls me. I'm Dave Sussman. You can also find me daily from 10 to 12 at America's Voice Live. America's Voice Live. That is a daily news program for 2 hours. We talk about everything there is to talk about. With Amanda Head and I, we comment and focus on news, breaking news as well at America's Voice News. America's Voice News is a fantastic channel. I know Joe has his show on there as well, and it's a great alternative to the mainstream media. We cover a lot of the news, even that Fox News doesn't cover. So check us out, and you can find me at Whiskey Politics. Just type in Whiskey Politics, Dave Sussman. We'll come up everywhere. You can find me on Facebook and that thing called YouTube. I think that's a new thing relatively. Anyway, but thank you all for joining us. And I'm just going to say this. There is something that is, and I started out this last hour before we had Eric Early on, ericearly.com, by the way. You check him out. He's running against Adam Schiff in California 28. And I know everybody listening to the show, for the most part, except for David in San Francisco. Hey, David in San Francisco. Probably wants to see Adam Schiff go away. But let me just say this about what's going on right now. When I started out this hour, I was talking about how angry the left have become and how unhinged. And I know that we use this word unhinged a lot, but what it stems from is this sense of entitlement and anger that they didn't expect to lose the election in 2016. So something must have been wrong. Something must, because everybody that they know voted for Hillary Clinton. Nobody that they knew voted for Donald Trump. And anybody that did vote for Donald Trump, they have decided, because they have conditioned themselves like a Pavlovian dog into thinking that anybody that supports the policies of this president, which are conservative policies, is a racist, sexist, xenophobe bigot. And they've repeated this ad nauseum to the point where they now believe that they are now the arbiters of who cares in this world. What do I mean by this? Well, let's take, I think, number 4 or 5 right now in the polling of the Democrat candidates for 2020, Kamala Harris, who said, I think Trump does not have a sense of empathy for people who are suffering. She's referring to shootings and hurricanes. She has determined, this woman, junior senator from the state of California, who thinks that she deserves to be your president, she has determined who cares and who doesn't care because she disagrees with their politics. Let's take a quick listen.
The leadership that has really lifted the middle class of our country and helped build our country.
We'll go to Keong next.
Senator, this morning, as California is searching for 34 people off the coast, as Texas reels from a shooting, as Florida prepares for the hurricane, we've captured images of the president golfing. What are some of your thoughts as all of this is happening in the country right now?
So let's start with what's happening off the coast of California, and my heart goes out for families who still don't know whether their family members have survived this tragedy or not. Again, all praise to the firefighters, to the Coast Guard workers who are doing the work of at this point, attempting to rescue. There is so much that is happening that is about devastation, but I also want to point out all of the hardworking people, this being Labor Day, who are responding as the first responders to try and save those who can be saved and trying to create safe communities for all of us. In terms of the president and these tragedies, I've said this before. I think he just does not have the ability to really have a sense of empathy for people who are enduring hardship and enduring pain. And, you know, the fact that he's, as you said, playing golf while all this is happening, it's not surprising.
Okay.
It's not surprising.
All right. Okay. Listen, you could disagree with Kamala Harris's politics. You could disagree with the past president of the United States, Barack Obama. You could disagree with Adam Schiff. You could disagree with Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and everybody else that's going to be standing up on that dais on September the 12th, whenever it is that they're going to have the debate. You can disagree with them. But I will never come out and openly state that I don't think that they don't care. I don't think that they are hateful people. I disagree with them vehemently. I believe their policies are dangerous to this country. I believe that their ideas are ill-informed. I believe their behavior is childish. I believe that the things that they say is hurtful to half this country. But I don't think that they are evil people. This is the difference, and this is an old cliche that goes back many, many years. You know, the right will call the left wrong. We believe that you are wrong. The left will call the right evil. And that's exactly what is going on today, bionic ways, steroids. That Kamala Harris, a sitting U.S. senator, that wants your vote for the presidency of the United States, has the audacity to stand there with a journalist, and I use that in quotes, who basically fed her a softball question saying, President Trump is on the golf course over the weekend when the hurricane is over the Bahamas and everybody in Florida is scared. And does he care? Of course, Kamala is going to just knock that one out of the park. But I don't think a home run for her is a home run for America. I think what she has done by stating that she doesn't believe that this president has a sense of empathy for people who are suffering helps her. I think it shows how transparently hateful as a person she truly is. Do I think she's evil? No. Do I think she is just a nasty person? Yes. And I don't like calling people names that I disagree with politically, but we're at a point right now where this woman has come out who, and whatever her lineage is of how she got her positions in politics, we can have that discussion. Cough, cough, Harry, Brown. What's his name? Speaker of the House. What was the Brown's first name? I forget. Anyway, I want to say Jerry Brown. It wasn't. Anyway, Speaker Willie Brown. Okay. We know the story of Willie Brown and how Kamala Harris basically got her first foray into politics as a younger woman. And he was still an older man. Okay. I don't need to go there. I just went there. But the reason that I went there is because we need to basically fight fire with fire at this point. If she is going to talk to her low information voters and just continue to perpetuate the idea, just as the left has done about this president, as not caring, as a Nazi, as a racist, as somebody that hates people of color, as somebody that hates women, as somebody that hates. And nobody in the media fights back against it. Except for us, this is how they win elections. Because the low information voters get packed on the buses on election day and they come in and they vote once, if not twice, if not 3 times, and they get their dead grandparents to vote for them as well. And this is how you see cities like Los Angeles and San Francisco and the state capital of Sacramento and Washington State and other blue governance cities around the country, Baltimore, St. Louis, Atlanta, the list goes on, and how they can continue to stay in power when all they're doing is lying to their constituents. Kamala Harris, I think Trump does not have a sense of empathy for people who are suffering. That is a lie. It is hurtful, it is devious, and it is done by design so that your neighbors who don't follow politics as closely as you do get a snippet of news in between The Bachelor and falling asleep at night about how evil this president is. And when you hear something enough, it's Goebbels 101. The minister of propaganda for Adolf Hitler, 1939. If you repeat a lie enough, people will believe it. Baghdad Bob, same thing. You remember Baghdad Bob back in the Operation Desert Storm. This is what the left are doing. They have taken a page from Goebbels. And Kamala Harris is perpetuating it along with Adam Schiff, along with Nancy Pelosi, along with Chuck Schumer, along with every other Democrat candidate, unfortunately including Joe Biden, who is perpetuating the idea that you, if you're listening to the show, chances are racist, xenophobic, bigoted, and a hateful person who doesn't care and doesn't have a sense of empathy. It's time for us to fight back. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me here at Real Side Radio. I'll be back again here in 2 weeks, and Joe will be back again tomorrow night. So cheers, God bless you all, and thanks for joining us. I'll see you online. Take care.